Alex is someone I get along very well with on and off the court. Again, another physical battle, but obviously against an opponent that was, playing on a high level. So I'm glad to overcome it. I was really blown away by how inspired she was. I mean, I was blown away by watching great athletes.
There are moments in sports when a young athlete wins a match and earns headlines for a day. Then there are moments when a young athlete changes the conversation of an entire tournament. At the 2026 Australian Open, that was exactly what happened with Alex Eala. She wasn't the defending champion, she wasn't the top seed, she wasn't the biggest name on the schedule, yet everywhere people looked there was one story impossible to ignore. Long lines formed outside her court hours before the match. Fans carrying Philippine flags packed the stands. Spectators squeezed into every available space hoping to catch even a glimpse of the rising star who had become one of the tournament's biggest attractions. The atmosphere became so extraordinary that it even affected movement around the Melbourne Park grounds, and eventually one of the greatest tennis players in history was asked about it. That player was Novak Djokovic. His answer surprised many people. Instead of treating the growing crowds as an inconvenience, Djokovic smiled and described them as a good problem to have. He pointed to Alex Eala's popularity and the incredible passion of Filipino fans as evidence that tennis continues to grow around the world. His comments were brief, but they carried significant meaning. They reflected something much bigger than one tournament or one player. When someone with 24 Grand Slam singles titles recognizes the excitement surrounding a young competitor, people pay attention. Suddenly the discussion wasn't only about Alex Eala's tennis, it became a story about her impact, about the energy she was bringing to one of the biggest tournaments in the sport, and about why thousands of people seemed determined not to miss a single point she played. Welcome to Tennis Diaries. Today we're exploring the remarkable story behind Novak Djokovic's comments, why Alex Eala became one of the biggest attractions at the Australian Open, and how one unforgettable tournament showed that a new generation of tennis stars is capturing the imagination of fans across the globe. To understand why Djokovic's words mattered, we first need to understand who Alex Eala had become. By the time she arrived in Melbourne, for years tennis followers had watched her steady progression through the junior and professional ranks. Born in the Philippines, Eala developed into one of the country's brightest sporting prospects at a young age. Her commitment to improving every aspect of her game eventually led her to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, where she learned the discipline and competitive mindset required to succeed at the highest level. Life on the professional tour was never easy. Week after week, Eala faced experienced opponents, unfamiliar conditions, and the relentless travel schedule that challenges every professional player. Some tournaments ended with encouraging victories, others ended with valuable lessons, but through every success and every setback, one quality remained constant: she kept improving. Her movement became sharper, her decision-making matured, her confidence against higher-ranked opponents continued to grow. By the start of the 2026 season, many analysts believed she was ready to make another significant step forward. The Australian Open offered the perfect stage. Grand Slam tournaments are different from every other event on the tennis calendar. The pressure is greater, the crowds are larger, the global audience is enormous. For young players hoping to establish themselves, a strong performance at a Grand Slam can completely transform a career. Eala understood the opportunity in front of her. She didn't arrive in Melbourne expecting attention, she arrived prepared to compete. From her opening match, there was something different about the atmosphere surrounding her. Supporters from the Philippines filled the stands. Families living in Australia came wearing Philippine colours. Neutral fans stopped to watch after hearing about the young player, generating excitement throughout the grounds. With every passing day, those crowds grew larger. Tournament staff noticed, broadcasters noticed, journalists noticed. Soon even players competing elsewhere around Melbourne Park began hearing about the remarkable support following Eala from court to court. Her popularity wasn't manufactured through social media campaigns or publicity stunts, it developed naturally. Fans admired the way she competed. She chased every ball, she celebrated every hard-earned point with quiet determination. Rather than dramatic gestures, she showed respect to opponents. She embraced the pressure instead of shrinking from it. Those qualities connected with audiences. Every victory attracted new supporters, every competitive performance encouraged more people to discover her story. As attendance continued to grow around her matches, it became increasingly difficult for tournament organizers to manage the crowds. Walkways became congested, fans arrived early to secure seats, some spectators stood several rows deep simply hoping to watch portions of her matches from outside the main seating areas. The excitement wasn't limited to people from One country, it spread throughout the tournament. Many spectators simply wanted to watch the young player everyone was talking about. That kind of attention is rare even on the biggest stages in tennis, because Grand Slam tournaments feature dozens of world-class players simultaneously. For one emerging athlete to become one of the event's major attractions says something extraordinary about both their performances and their connection with the public. Alex Eala was creating exactly that kind of moment. She wasn't just winning points, she was creating memories, and those memories were beginning to influence conversations throughout Melbourne Park. Eventually, reporters posed an interesting question to Novak Djokovic. As one of the tournament's biggest stars, he had experienced enormous crowds throughout his legendary career. He understood better than almost anyone what happens when fan interest grows beyond expectations. What did he think about the remarkable scenes surrounding Alex Eala's matches? His response was thoughtful. Rather than viewing the congestion as a problem, Djokovic explained that it reflected healthy growth for the sport. More people watching tennis, more fans discovering new players, more excitement surrounding the tournament. Those are positive developments for everyone involved. He specifically acknowledged the tremendous support Eala was receiving and recognized how passionately Filipino fans were embracing her journey, coming from one of the greatest champions the sport has ever seen. Those comments carried considerable weight. They weren't about comparing achievements, they weren't about predicting future championships, they were an acknowledgement that Alex Eala had become one of the stories of the tournament. And sometimes recognition from a legend means just as much as a headline. But the growing attention around Eala wasn't happening by accident. There was a deeper reason why thousands of fans kept returning to watch her compete, and that reason would soon become impossible for as the tournament gathered momentum, something unusual began happening around Melbourne Park. Normally the biggest crowds follow the top seeds and former Grand Slam champions. Fans race from court to court hoping to catch a glimpse of the sport's biggest stars. But during this Australian Open, another name kept appearing in conversations throughout the grounds: Alex Eala. At first it was simply curiosity. Spectators had heard about the young Filipina who had developed through the Rafa Nadal Academy. Others had read about her impressive rise through the professional rankings and wanted to see her game for themselves. Then curiosity turned into excitement. With every match, more people stopped to watch. Every convincing performance attracted new supporters. By the middle of the tournament, Eala's matches had become some of the most talked about events outside the main show courts. Tournament volunteers noticed the growing crowds. Broadcasters mentioned the electric atmosphere. Journalists began asking the same question: why was everyone suddenly talking about Alex Eala? The answer wasn't based on hype, it was based on what people were witnessing on the court. Eala competed with a level of maturity that often surprised first-time viewers. She didn't rely on one spectacular shot, she built points patiently. She defended with remarkable determination. When opportunities appeared, she attacked with confidence instead of hesitation. Those qualities made her matches entertaining regardless of the opponent. Every rally felt meaningful, every service game carried tension, and every victory added another chapter to one of the Australian Open's most compelling stories. What impressed experienced tennis observers even more was her composure. Many young players allow the pressure of a Grand Slam to affect their decision-making. The enormous crowds, the international television audience, the expectation of representing an entire nation, those pressures can overwhelm even talented competitors. Eala handled them with impressive calm. She celebrated important points but never lost focus. She respected every opponent regardless of ranking. Most importantly, she never appeared intimidated by the occasion. That quiet confidence became one of her greatest strengths. As her tournament progressed, support from the Filipino community became impossible to ignore. Families traveled long distances to watch her compete. Philippine flags appeared throughout the stands. Fans proudly wore their national colors, creating an atmosphere that felt unique within the tournament. Their energy spread to neutral spectators. Many people who initially stopped to watch out of curiosity found themselves cheering alongside them by the end of the match. That is one of the special qualities of sport. Passion is contagious. When fans believe wholeheartedly in an athlete, others often become part of the journey. Soon Alex Eala wasn't just representing herself, she had become a symbol of possibility for countless young athletes watching from the Philippines and around the world. Back home, millions followed every update. Television programs expanded their coverage. Sports websites placed her results on their front pages. Social media filled with celebrations after each strong performance. Children carrying tennis rackets suddenly had a new role model. Parents saw proof that dreams reaching far beyond national borders could become reality through discipline and determination. The excitement extended well beyond tennis. It became a national story inside Melbourne Park. Tournament organizers also recognized what was happening. The increased attendance around Eala's matches reflected something every major sporting event hopes to achieve: new fans discovering the game. More people were exploring different courts, more spectators were staying longer throughout the day, more international audiences were paying attention to women's tennis. That kind of growth benefits everyone involved. It was exactly this broader picture that Novak Djokovic later referenced when he described the crowds surrounding Alex Eala as a good problem to have. His comment wasn't simply about packed walkways or busy seating areas, it reflected the health of the sport itself. When young players inspire thousands of new supporters to attend matches, tennis grows stronger. When emerging stars attract worldwide attention, the future becomes even brighter. Djokovic understood that reality better than almost anyone. After more than 2 decades competing at the highest level, he had watched multiple generations transform the game. He knew that every era depends on new personalities capable of inspiring fresh audiences. Alex Eala had become one of those personalities, not because of marketing campaigns, not because of dramatic headlines, but because of her performances, professionalism, and genuine connection with fans. Every match she played reinforced the feeling that something important was unfolding. The Australian Open had discovered one of its breakout stars, and the tennis world was beginning to realize that Alex Eala's story was only getting started. Rest of the tennis world to ignore the excitement surrounding Alex Eala at the Australian Open eventually became about much more than wins and losses. Every day she remained in the tournament, the crowds seemed to grow larger. Fans arrived earlier, more cameras appeared outside her practice sessions. Reporters from around the world wanted to understand why one of the youngest players in the draw had become one of the event's biggest attractions. The answer wasn't complicated. People were watching a player who competed with genuine belief. Eala wasn't trying to imitate anyone else's style. She brought her own personality to the court, calm under pressure, fearless when opportunities appeared, and determined to fight for every point regardless of the score. That attitude connected with tennis fans from every background. For the Philippines, her run represented something historic. For international fans, it was the emergence of a fresh face capable of challenging established names. For the tournament itself, it was proof that tennis continues to discover new audiences in every corner of the world. That is why Novak Djokovic's comments resonated so strongly when he described the crowds surrounding Eala as a good problem to have. He wasn't simply talking about busy walkways or packed courts. He was recognizing that the sport benefits when new stars inspire new fans. Tennis has always evolved through generations, with one group of champions eventually passing the spotlight to the next. Djokovic has lived through that evolution himself. He experienced the era dominated by Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal before becoming one of the defining champions of his own generation. He understands better than almost anyone that every great player was once an unknown talent waiting for an opportunity. His remarks reflected respect, not because Eala had already achieved everything, but because she had earned the attention she was receiving through her performances and her connection with the crowd. For Alex Eala, that tournament became another important milestone in a career that continues to move forward. It demonstrated that she could thrive under the pressure of a Grand Slam. It showed that she could attract worldwide interest without changing who she was, and it reminded young athletes everywhere that remarkable opportunities often begin with years of quiet dedication, that few people ever see. The journey ahead will undoubtedly bring new challenges. Professional tennis demands constant improvement. Every season introduces tougher opponents, changing expectations, and fresh obstacles to overcome. Success at one tournament never guarantees success at the next, but some moments remain significant regardless of future results. The Australian Open was one of those moments. It was the tournament where Alex Eala became more than a promising young player. She became one of the stories everyone wanted to follow. As for Novak Djokovic's comments served as a reminder of what makes sport so compelling. Champions do not only inspire through trophies, sometimes they inspire by recognizing excellence in others. A few thoughtful words from one of tennis' greatest legends helped highlight the impact Alex Eala was already making, not just in the Philippines but throughout the international tennis community. Whether her future includes Grand Slam titles, top 10 rankings, or even greater achievements, one thing is already clear: she has captured the attention of the tennis world, and once the tennis world starts paying attention, every match becomes another opportunity to write history. Thank you for watching Tennis Diaries. If you enjoyed this story, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Alex Eala has what it takes to become a future Grand Slam champion? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more premium tennis documentaries, and see you in the next one.